simple to put a web services front end to talk to the different consumer front end technologies, right? Like iPhones and like, you know. So what this is really put a standard web services in front of your traditionally closed enterprise information, be able to share that through standard consumer interface. Okay. But not everybody's doing that. In fact, only minority of companies are doing that today, because the first thing they worry about is security. When we talk to CIOs, the first thing they raise about Web 2.0, about consumerization, is what are we going to do about security? For one thing, they don't understand the complete implication about security. And second, they do know that attackers are looking at Web 2.0 as a potential opportunity for data theft, for entry into the enterprise boundary. And one of the fundamental impact of adopting these consumer technologies really is the further dilution of enterprise boundaries, right? So you can't just close your infrastructure any more than what you could before, even less, right? You have to deal with consumer front-end portals out there, and there's just no boundary you can draw. So now we come to what we're really here for, is about the security risks. This is fairly new data coming out from Google. What you see is several researchers in Google analyzed over 66 million URLs with the span of March 2007 to I think the end of February 2008. Okay, this is published in March. And they looked at percentage of those URLs that are considered either malicious or potentially malicious, meaning that they may have malware or they may participate in distribution of malware. And that percentage in, I think, March 2007 was 0.3% of the over 66 million URLs that they crawled, okay? And the same analysis in the end of February 2008 was 1.3%. Okay, there was a 1% of increase, right? And when you look at that rate of increase, I don't know what the rate it is right now, but it's probably a safe assumption it has further gone up, okay? And that paper went on to analyze some of these new malicious sites and looked at why they're considered malicious. Turns out a large percentage of those websites that are qualified as malicious are legitimate websites that have been compromised in one way or another to participate in malware distribution. So in the past, malware is hosted in what we call dark side of the internet, right? Things like gambling sites, porn sites, and they're still on those sites today, but they often, the first thing you get to as a consumer, you get to the legitimate site, maybe your bank or maybe some news site, and that site will be compromised with a very small code injected onto the website to, in the back end, redirect your browser to a third-party site that may download these malware. And in fact, a few days ago, I was looking at a Chinese news agency site, because I do my research online and whatnot, and I clicked on a link, and there was a flash in the background, and the window just went away. And I was like, oh, what is that? So I looked, and there was a process was installed on my computer that wasn't there before. And I don't know what it is, but I didn't have time to analyze it, but I'm pretty sure that's not something I want it to be running on my computer. And that kind of things happen all the time.
Maybe that's why you weren't able to get the program.
Well, maybe that's why. Yeah, yes, maybe that's why. So that was like the day. That was like the day before I left for my flight here. So I didn't have time to test and
yeah. Do you have, just real quick, do you have any research on of all the domains allocated out there, what percentage is allocated towards not necessarily malicious, but not well-intentioned sites?
So that's difficult. I mean, this is probably representative. but this is URLs, not domains. You're looking at domains, and I don't have that particular data, but I think if you look at domains versus URL, you'll see a probably similar percentage increase in there. So this is, yes?
The infiltration of what was once presumed safe sites, is that now coming through infected clients that then upload the infection to these now safe sites? Or
well, sometimes it's, so when we talk about Web 2.0, one of the primary things is about the client side has a lot important role to play. They can contribute content, they can contribute in actual computing, right, instead of just coming to browse information. So yes, there's sometimes they're due to infected clients who then the server has put inappropriate amount of trust in the client side, hence the server is compromised. But a lot of times, actually more than not, is it because the server code had a vulnerability in it. The web application had a vulnerability in it.
Was hacked directly.
Yeah, it was hacked directly.
Check
Yeah.
Business Week.
What?
Like the Business Week.
Yeah, and this so this is a similar example, right? So what you're looking at is a Italian bank, Fedora. I can't pronounce the name. This hack was discovered, I think, in February 2007 something, and they didn't know how long it will actually existed on their site. You're looking at a user login screen, and it was discovered back in 2007 that an iframe, invisible iframe, was injected onto this web page. And because it's invisible, so visually there's nothing you can tell. You couldn't tell anything was wrong. But when the user enters user ID and password, the information was captured by the iframe and sent to a server in Taiwan. Okay? And they didn't even know how long it was on there. The way it was discovered was really funny. One of the guys used mobile interface to access this bank, and the attacker who injected the iframe didn't do an automatic resizing of the iframe with the page. So what you see, if you look at it from a mobile handset, you see sort of misaligned, a little thin frame there. And this guy, for whatever reason, called in to customer support and say, hey, you know, this kind of looks weird on my mobile handset. And then they did the investigation and they found out that there was an invisible iframe. So if this guy didn't call in, it may still be there today. So the reason is this kind of thing happen all the time, right? And this was the way this code was injected was that they exploited a cross-site scripting error, okay, and then was able to inject code. So I think the slides will be accessible from the website. Yeah, so if you guys can't see the back, you can get the slide later. And I also have actually I have a landing page on my company's site to download this. I'll show this in the end. And most time people attack these websites is about data theft, right? This is the latest data we got, 2007, 2008 rate. You may not be able to see it. For payment cards, just credit card number, it's about $3 to $5 per credit card number you can sell on the black market today. If you have what they call full account information, which is more and more now, the full information is about your name, your address, your birth date, your social security number, everything you need to get a credit card. Okay,